South Africa is in disbelief tonight. Julius Sello Malema, the outspoken leader of the economic freedom fighters, has been found guilty. The East London Magistrate Court has delivered a verdict that will echo across the nation. Malema, a sitting member of parliament and one of South Africa's most polarizing political figures, has been convicted on charges including unlawful possession of a firearm, discharging a firearm in a public place, and reckless endangerment to persons and property. It's a moment that has split the country in two, a moment that feels less like a courtroom judgment and more like a turning point in South Africa's political history. As the judge read the verdict, silence swept through the courtroom. The air grew heavy. Julius Malema sat still, eyes focused, his face betraying no fear. For many, it was the look of a man prepared for battle, not defeat. Outside, however, the atmosphere was anything but calm. Thousands of EFF supporters filled the streets around the East London Magistrates Court. Red flags waved high. Chants of "Hands off Malema" and "The revolution will never die" thundered through the city. It wasn't a protest anymore. It was a movement reclaiming its voice. To understand this moment, we must go back. This trial stems from an incident that has haunted Malema for years, when he was accused of unlawfully discharging a firearm during a political rally. To his critics, it was proof of recklessness. To his supporters, it was a symbol of defiance, an act of revolutionary power in a country still grappling with inequality and injustice. Over time, the case became more than a legal matter. It became a political weapon. Organizations like AfriForum pursued it relentlessly, calling it a matter of accountability and justice. But within the EFF, the case was seen as a direct attack on the movement's heart, an attempt to weaken a leader who has spent his career challenging South Africa's political elite. And now, years later, the verdict has landed guilty. As news spread across social media, the reactions came flooding in. Some celebrated the conviction, saying, "No one is above the law." Others warned that this was not justice, but a dangerous attempt to silence a revolutionary voice. One user wrote, "Zuma's arrest will be nothing compared to what happens if they touch Julius." Another said simply, "They fear him because he speaks truth to power." Malema himself was quick to respond, calm, defiant, and unwavering. He told his supporters, "As a revolutionary, going to prison or facing death is a badge of honor. We cannot be scared of prison. We cannot be scared to die for the revolution." His words hit like thunder, a declaration that this was far from over. In his fiery statement outside court, Malema vowed to appeal. He insisted that the judgment was flawed, calling it faulty and politically motivated. "We leave here highly determined," he said. "We're going to fight this up until the Constitutional Court." Did you expect this twist? Did you think that Julius Malema, one of the loudest voices in South African politics, would ever stand on the brink of prison? The next date now looms large, January 23, 2026. That's when sentencing is expected to take place. For his supporters, it's more than just a court date. It's a day they see as symbolic, a test of whether South Africa still protects revolutionary thought or whether it now punishes those who dare to challenge authority. The EFF has already drawn its battle lines. In an official statement, the party condemned the ruling, calling it the result of AfriForum's frivolous charges and vowing that the revolution would not stop. "Our fight for freedom, land, and justice continues, stronger and more determined than ever," the statement read. Across cities and townships, EFF members gathered in red, chanting, singing, and vowing to stand by their commander-in-chief. Videos flooded the internet showing crowds shouting, "We are not scared. We are ready." For many, Malema's conviction felt like the system's attempt to cage an idea, but ideas cannot be jailed. Still, this verdict raises uncomfortable questions. What does it mean when a sitting member of parliament, one who commands millions of loyal followers, is convicted? What message does this send to a nation already divided by race, class, and politics? Some see it as a sign that the rule of law still stands strong, that even powerful politicians must face the consequences of their actions. Others, however, view it as a chilling warning to activists, revolutionaries, and critics of the state. A warning that those who shout too loudly against the establishment will eventually be silenced. Malema's political journey has never been without controversy. From his days in the ANC Youth League to the founding of the EFF, he has always been a man who stirs emotion, adored by some, despised by others, but ignored by none. Now, with this conviction, the stakes have never been higher. A prison sentence would not only shake the EFF, it would transform South African politics entirely. And yet, those close to the movement insist this is not the end. One EFF supporter outside the court summed it up simply: even if they put him behind bars, Malema's spirit will lead us from the inside. The global community is also watching closely. International outlets are beginning to cover the story, with many calling it a defining moment for post-apartheid South Africa. The question remains, will Malema's conviction bring calm or chaos? As the day of sentencing draws nearer, the energy across the country continues to build. Social media remains ablaze with hashtags like #HandsOffMalema and #CICForever. Thousands of South Africans, young and old, are preparing to travel to East London in January to stand with their leader one more time. Even in the face of this judgment, Malema's words ring louder than the gavel that convicted him. "The revolution will never stop," he declared. "We are not afraid." For his opponents, this is a victory for justice. For his followers, it is proof that the system will always fight those who challenge it. And for South Africa, it is a mirror reflecting its deepest contradictions, a nation still wrestling with freedom, fairness, and the meaning of true justice. How would your community react if one of its most fearless voices was convicted for standing by his beliefs? Do you believe this judgment was fair, or is this just another chapter in a much bigger struggle for South Africa's soul? One thing is undeniable: Julius Malema's story is far from over. Whether he walks free or faces prison, this moment has already secured his place in history. His fight, his words, and his defiance will echo far beyond the courtroom. South Africa stands divided, but alive with emotion, resistance, and the unshakable belief that the revolution, as Malema said, will never die. If you believe this moment matters, like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more stories that shape South Africa's destiny. Because tonight, one man's conviction has set the stage for a nation's awakening, and history is being written right before our eyes.